but welcome. And I appreciate you being here. And I know that while all of our lives are topsy-turvy right now, it is difficult to figure out where you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to be doing. And just embrace that as okay and understandable, and know that we're going to get through this. My message, or my dharma, for this evening's practice has to do with this divine creature who's sitting behind me. This is Kali, or Kali Ma, as she is sometimes referred to. And Kali is one of the divine feminine personifications. She's one of the energies that we think of when we think of the energy of creation, or the manifesting energy, the energy that is bringing something new into creation. And Kali, you can sort of see her features. She's pretty fierce, badass energy. And she arrives at a time in your life, either your personal life or the life of humanity, when there is a need for some pretty significant and deep and profound transformation to happen. She's connected to the element of air. And why that is because the way she comes into your life is very, very swiftly, like a hurricane or a tsunami, if you will. And when Kali, or this, what we often refer to as a dark night of the soul moment, descends either in your personal life or what we are experiencing right now globally, you know it, okay? And the question can be, why is Kali here? And what purpose is she here for? And if you've ever had a dark soul or dark night of the soul moment in your life, congratulations. They are one of the most brutal experiences you can have, but also one that will leave you forever changed, and changed for the better. But while you're going through it, you don't understand that, and you often can't see your way, but Kali has you, and she's with you, and you are riding on this wind, or riding on this flow, that she is arm in arm with you. And the purpose of her descending or arriving in your life is because there has been some deep-seated inequity or lack of harmony, or a shadow that you have been pushing down for way too long. And so she comes actually in a gesture of love, and a gesture of wanting to heal you and help you arrive at the other side of where you are now. So the way she does this is she arrives and she rips away the veil of illusion. She wants you to see full on where you've been hiding, things that have been hidden from you, so that you can see more clearly. So her role is to eliminate false perception, or eliminate what's called avidya, which is ignorance. And we all live behind these veils. We all live behind these perceptions of reality that are not based in complete truth or complete clarity. And her arrival is to usher that in. But it means taking a ride or a trip, quite the trip it can be, with her. and to stay with her through what this representation of Kali as the dark Kali or the black Kali is. With the promise that if you take that trip with her, you will arrive on another side into what is called red Kali. And the red personification of Kali is passion, aliveness, vibrance, truth, and kind of experiencing life in all its splendor, being sensuously and purely connected to the truth. And this is what she wants for us. This is what she wants for all of humanity, because when we live in the dark, we don't shine the way we need to shine. And all of life, our own life and the lives of the people who we live with and love, and just humanity as a whole, is dependent upon each of us coming forth and shining to the potential that she knows exists within each of us. The other thing I want to say about Kali and about this whole way to understand her comes through a song that was written by Sean Johnson. Sean is the owner of a yoga studio in New Orleans, so they are very much in the thick of it. And Sean and his band, the Wild Lotus Band, comes to Perennial on a regular basis. They were planning to come June 21st. And one of the songs on the Unity album is a song called The Way of Love. And I actually added a playlist for tonight's class entitled The Way of Love, and you can find that in Spotify, or I put a link on Facebook to it. But in this song, The Way of Love, what Sean does is he links together this chant or this calling out to Kali Ma. And it's actually an invitation. It's an invitation asking Kali to come into our lives. Because with Kali and with the struggle and with the devastation that comes with her, comes this opportunity for new life, for true transformation, for us to be able to get from the side we're on now, being in darkness, being ignorant, being in a state of turmoil and confusion, into a place of enlightenment. In this song, The Way of Love, Sean links together a poem by Rumi with this chant or this invocation to Kali. And the poem that he links is by Rumi, entitled The Way of Love. And these are the 4 refrains. The way of love is not a subtle argument. The door there is devastation. Birds make great sky circles of their freedom. How do they learn it? They fall. And in falling, they are given their wings. So this really beautiful poem by Rumi talks exactly about what this portal that we're being asked to go through now as a humanity, and globally. We're being asked to step through this door of devastation with the promise that on the other side of that door is our freedom. But the only way we can achieve that freedom is through the falling, through the surrender, through the falling. And in that practice, in that fall into grace, we come to a place where we gain our wings, where our wings are given to us, and we understand how we can soar in ways that we have not known was our capacity before. So with that, I invite you to bring your hands together in front of your heart. Blink your eyes closed and set your intention to drop in to the present moment. Connect with your breath. Connect with the now through your breath. Someone once asked me, how can I invite Kali in? And I said, Kali comes looking for you. And when she does, consider yourself fortunate because she's holding out her hand and saying, come with me, you're ready. You're ready to be ushered to the other side, to the side of living from your full potential. But in order to do that, we have to go into the earth, into the darkness, into our shadows, and bring them forward and look at them. Surrender, and then step forward into the light. Allow your breath to deepen. And if you are choosing to switch on the playlist, you'll have to do it on a different device. Like I said, it's called The Way of Love, and there is a link in Facebook. So I invite you to start your music now if you're going to. For those of you who aren't hearing it, this first song, though, has such a beautiful title. It's called Tender Heart. And this is the way love pours into us. This is the way transformation pours out of us. It's through allowing our heart to become more tender, allowing ourselves to drop into a state of vulnerability. Join me in a deep breath in through your nose and then out through your mouth. Allow your hands to come down onto the tops of your knees, palms down. Draw your sit bones down into the earth. Draw your spine long and tall. Bring a brightness to the top of your head. Join me in another deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then let that dance of breath arrive and fall away, knowing that each breath is a transformative act. And then transfer your left hand over to the top of your right knee. Spin and look back over your right shoulder. Continue to sit up nice and tall. And then as you let go of your right knee and transfer your left hand over to the side of your mat, sweep your right arm up and over alongside your head and just arch, opening up the right side body. And then move your right hand down to the top of your left knee. Turn and look back over your left shoulder. And then we'll take a nice, beautiful side opener, pitching our right hand off to the side and sweeping our left arm up and across and over. Come back to the center. Bring your both hands to the tops of your knees. As you inhale, press your belly forward. Lift your chest. Lift your gaze. As you exhale, draw the spine back, round, and draw the chin to the chest. Inhale, pulling the belly forward and the gaze up. And then exhaling, rounding into cat pose. One more round each direction, yogis. And now move, come into tabletop position. Placing your hands right underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips here. Press your palms into the ground. Make little touch points with each of your 10 fingertips. Feel into the earth. Create your roots there. And then extend your right leg back, but keep the ball mound of the foot on the floor. Draw long from the heel through the crown of the head. And then transfer your right foot over behind you to the left side of your mat and gaze back over your left shoulder. And then return to tabletop and take this on the other side. Your left leg is going to go back. Keep the toes and the ball mound of the foot on the floor. Draw the belly towards the spine a bit. Broaden through the shoulders. Find this staff, this danda. And then switch. Take your left foot over to the right side of your mat. Turn, look back. Return to tabletop. Sit back on your heels briefly. Bring your hands to your heart. Gaze down to your fingertips. Send your invocation to Kali. Welcome her and welcome yourself to your practice. Sometimes we approach change just on little tiptoes. Sometimes we're thrust into it. Right now we're thrust into the opportunity to make big, sweeping changes. Be tender with yourself, but be fierce. Fierce in your commitment. Okay. And then place your hands shoulder distance apart. Curl your toes and make your way to your first downward facing dog. As you arrive here, pedal your feet some. Find your way here. Always these first moments of feeling our way into our body, connecting our breath to our body again. Such a almost impossible task right now. So we need to remind ourselves to do it over and over again. Allow your heart to press back towards your thighs, heels to sink towards the mat. Together, a deep breath in through the nose, and then out through the mouth. Walking forward now to the top of your mat. When you arrive there, let your knees bend. Let them bend generously and press your belly and your chest down towards your thighs. Allow the head to hang. And then slowly roll yourself all the way up, arriving in Tadasana, flowing up into high mountain, drawing your hands to your heart, and then settling into Tadasana. Your feet become your roots. Your heart begins to open with each breath. Take your arms now, sweep them high overhead. As you exhale, hinge, forward fold down to your mat. Find a halfway lift by drawing your spine long. Exhale, fold. Rise all the way up, pressing feet into the ground, sweeping arms high overhead. Draw the hands to the heart. Return your arms to your side. Take a breath in right here. As you exhale, bring your hands to your heart. As you inhale, bring a big sweep wide with the arms. As you exhale, hinge, forward fold, down to your mat. Place your palms on the floor, step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, pull out long to plank. On your exhale, return right back down to downward facing dog. Inhale, pull out long to plank. Keep your elbows close to your body and lower all the way down onto your belly. Roll up into a baby cobra here, keeping all 10 toes on the mat. Lower down. 2 more of those, pulsing, rising, flowing to your breath. After your third, return to tabletop position. Curl your toes and go to downward facing dog. Stay for your whole exhale out. And then inhale, walk forward to the top of your mat. Let the exhale be a press of all of the air out of the belly. And let the inhale bring you up, a rising and a filling of breath. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, your arms to your side. Right away back to hands at heart center. Inhale. Sweep your arms high overhead. Bow on your exhale. Step back to downward facing dog. And exhale everything out. Pulling forward into plank pose. Lowering down nice and slow. The inhale brings you up into a back bend, Bhujangasana. The exhale takes you to downward facing dog. Deep breath in here. Stay and let it go. On your inhale, bring your right leg high to the sky. As you exhale, pull the right knee into the belly. Inhale, pull the right leg high to the sky. Exhale, pull it in. And then once more, sweep the right leg high above you and lower it down. On the left side, same thing. Breathe in, find length. Exhale, round. Pull the left knee in. Inhale, take your leg high. Exhale, round. And just feel the ebb and the flow, the expansion and the contraction. After your third, rounding and pulling in of the left knee, bring your right foot to the floor. A few more breaths, still finding our place, finding our ground. And from our ground, we flow. Walk forward to the top of your mat. Fold into yourself when you get there. Rise, come up tall and big and strong and bright into high mountain. Exhale, hands to the heart, arms to the side. Hands back to the heart. Big sweep of the arms high overhead. Hinge, forward fold all the way down. This time, just step the right foot back. Send your heart forward, rise onto your fingertips and find your lunge. Go to downward facing dog. Come out long to plank pose and lower all the way to the belly or just halfway for chaturanga. Inhale, come up into upward facing dog or cobra and move to downward facing dog. Lift the right leg high. Bring the knee in towards the belly again and then step the right foot between the thumbs. Lift your heart, find a lunge here, and then step both feet forward and fold in. Ground down, come up, sweep the arms high over your head. Bring your hands to your heart and release your arms to your side. Right back to the heart with your hands. Inhale. And then sweep your arms high up over your head. Fold on the exhale. Step back with your left foot. Perch up on your fingertips. Shine your heart forward. Move to downward facing dog. Coming out long on your inhale to plank pose. Lowering halfway or all the way down. Inhale. Find your back bend. Exhale to downward facing dog. Extend your left leg. Step it forward by really rounding in and placing your foot. Find your lunge and then step the right foot up to meet the left and fold in Uttanasana. Coming up, finding our length, finding our beautiful expression here, and then sitting down in Utkatasana. Root down through the bottoms of the feet. Draw the hips back, the heart forward. Be here. And stand up, splash it into a tiny back bend. Swan dive down to your mat. Halfway lift. Step all the way back, right into a plank position. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go to downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Look forward as you exhale. Step, jump, or walk to the top of your mat. Lift up halfway. Fold in all the way. Inhale to Utkatasana. Deepen as you exhale. Come up. Bring it into a baby back bend. And then swan dive down to your mat. Step back with the right foot. Find the lunge. Move right to chaturanga this time as you exhale. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg. Step your right foot forward. Shine the heart as you finish the lunge, and then step forward and fold into yourself. Come all the way up, this time to high mountain, and sit down into Utkatasana. Deep breath in, long breath out. Splash it up into high mountain with a back bend at the top. And then swan dive down to your mat. Step the left foot back. Be in the lunge for a breath and go right to Chaturanga Dandasana as you exhale. Find your back bend, breathing in, moving to downward facing dog as you breathe out. Left leg lifts, breathe in, step forward. See the front of your mat, and then step both feet forward and fold in. Right up into Utkatasana this time for one breath in. And then as you exhale, hinge, forward fold. Find a halfway lift, and then Chaturanga Dandasana as you exhale. Upward facing dog. to downward facing dog. Stay here for a few breaths. Allow the flow that you brought into your body to start to marinate here. Feel the quickening of the heart, the aliveness that's returned to the body, and celebrate it. Celebrate your aliveness, yogis. Now lift your right leg high to the sky. Step it forward between your thumbs and ground your back heel. Come up and open into warrior two. So right knee bent, right fingers reaching just beyond, left hand keeping you anchored right here in the middle. Feel the body responding to the practice. Tip it back into peaceful warrior with a beautiful breath in. And then windmill your hands down to the floor and step back right into a plank position. Lower down, hover. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Allow your left leg to lift on the inhale and step forward on the exhale. Back heel presses to the mat and then you come up. The root to rise. Such a message, such an invitation to practice over and over again. Root and then rise. Fall and then rise. And an inhale, sweep the left arm up over your head. Gaze at it if you will, and then windmill down to the mat. You can go right to downward facing dog, or you could step right back into plank and lower halfway down. Upward facing to downward facing dog. Right leg lifts into Virabhadrasana 2 again. So seal the back heel first, coming up and open into warrior 2. Float your right arm high over your head and move right into Uttiti Trikonasana here, which as the hips pull back, you reach the right arm forward. And then just kind of like the wheels or the arms on a clock, pendulum, and you find the shape of moving the body in 4 directions, expanding just a little bit beyond the urge to press forward, the desire to step into a newer, bigger, brighter expression of yourself. And then as you rise, bend the right knee and deepen back into warrior 2. Tip back into peaceful. Windmill your hands down to the mat. And then take both hands around to the left side of your mat. Pivot your feet to face all 10 toes to the left side. And just bow and fold into yourself a bit here. Press into your fingertips when you inhale. Come up. And when you exhale, bow forward. And then once more, rise, lift, extend the spine long. And then exhale, fold. Go back to the top of your mat, bending your right knee, finishing it with a lunge. And then move right into downward facing dog. going to switch directions here so I don't have my back to you. On your inhale, lift your left leg. Step forward, grounding the right heel first so you can come up strong, powerful, poised right into Virabhadrasana 2. And then work to make the fluidity, the flow between the poses, part of the art, part of the practice. So tip it back to peaceful. And then one long, beautiful, graceful, elegant return to triangle pose. Make some sound with your breath so that you're present to your own life right here. And then pull back up into Warrior 2. Settle there. And then cartwheel the hands down to the mat again. And then this time you're going to turn around to the side of your mat. Okay, same as we did before. Heel toe your feet in just a little bit. Turn your heels in, toes out. Bring your hands to the tops of your thighs here. And then bring your shoulders up over your hips. So finding high malasana, a squat here, okay? Take your arms up over your head. Clasp your hands together. You can have your pointer fingers extended, and this is Kali pose, okay? And Kali has a sword in one of her hands, and that sword is designed to cut your attachment to things that don't serve you anymore. Cut your attachment to your ego, your attachment to dysfunctional aspects of your life, okay? So we're going to breathe in here, and as we exhale, sweep your sword down, okay? Bring your hands back to your heart. This is where we return to every time, okay? Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sweep your sword forward and down. Hands back into the heart, and one more. Inhale. Exhale. Turn towards the top of your mat. Step back and take a vinyasa or move right into downward facing dog. Step your feet close together. Inhale, reach the right leg high. Step it forward. One more. Return here on this side to Vira 2. This time after we tip back into peaceful warrior, move it into a side angle so the right knee will stay bent. The right hand can come down to the inside or to a block. Okay. And then find the length on the left side body and extend into it. Expand it from the ground up through the fingertips. Beautiful. One more moment here. And just let your left arm come down in front of your face. Turn it into a lunge here. Okay? Rise up into a high lunge, so keep your back heel lifted and come up. Send the right knee forward, the left heel back. Bring your shoulders right over your hips here. And then twist. Take the left arm forward and the right arm back. Finding your way with your breath, even though the world is tipsy, topsy, turvy, curvy, whatever. And then tip it back into a variation on a peaceful warrior. And then windmill your arms down to the floor. Bring your left knee down to the mat and rock back both hips, or send them back as you extend your right leg and fold over your right leg for Ardha Hanumanasana. Working to keep your hips over your left knee here. Maybe you find a little lift through the upper body and then a return into the fold, setting your belly and your chest right over your right leg. And then bring your right foot back down to the ground and make your way to downward facing dog. Lift your left leg, yogis. Breathe in. Step your left foot forward between your thumbs. Ground your back heel. Root and rise and return to Virabhadrasana 2. Tip this side back into peaceful warrior and move into side angle. Left arm coming down. Finding the length on the right side of the body and then making even more of it with the arm. Good, and then press back up into Virabhadrasana 2. Settle there. Cartwheel your hands to the floor. Lower your right knee to the mat and rock back into Ardha Hanumanasana. As you progress through your practice, from beginning to end, make each part of it a ritual that threads together. It's woven together with your breath. And then as you come forward, curl your right toes under and rise to your high lunge. Once you feel your powerful legs pressed into the planet, send your right arm forward and your left arm back so you can experience this open twist here. And then float the right arm high, let the left fingers find your back leg. And then windmill, down to the mat you go. Taking your vinyasa here, and eventually we'll all meet up in our downward facing dog. Now float your right leg high to the sky. Step your right foot forward. Actually, I'm going to switch directions here. With your right foot forward, take your right peace fingers, circle grip them around your right big toe. Press your left hand into the ground, okay? Your back foot, the heel, is going to seal to the floor. And then lift your right leg. Maybe you stay here in a variation of side plank. Maybe you find a little fuller expression. Keep lifting the hips, expanding. And then gently let go of your right toes and dribble your right leg back behind you. Extend the middle of the body up towards the sky and drape your right arm over your head. From here, you can transfer right into chaturanga. So turn, bend the elbows, and be there. Upward facing dog is next, and then move to downward facing dog. Okay, second side for this Beautiful Vastisthasana expression. Okay. Lift your left leg. Step your left foot forward. Circle grip your left big toe. Press, find your roots through your right hand. Turn your back heel down and then hover, float, expand. Find your expression where it is today. And then dribble your left leg down behind you. Open up the left side body. Make your way to Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to your up dog. Make your way to downward facing dog. Breathing in and breathing out. Walk your feet forward to the top of your mat here and fold into yourself. Slowly roll up, coming into high mountain at the top of your inhale. Hands to the heart, Anjali Mudra. Find your Tadasana. Bring your hands to your hips, please. On your inhale, make a big stair step with your right foot. Take your right hand down inside. Circle grip your foot again. Okay? And then keep a tall, straight spine. And extend your right leg. You'll decide how far the right leg extends based upon when you have to start to pitch forward. That's where you stop. Tall spine first, long leg second. Right leg lifts or arm lifts. Then you can open this up by taking your left arm behind you. From here, you're going to take a big stair step back behind you, arriving in a high lunge. Okay. Bring your hands to your heart center. Take a big sip of breath in, and then take your right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. Draw the spine long. Open this pose from the belly revolving first. Keep your hands at your heart. You can open your arms wide. Feel the shaking. Feel the movement of the body. Celebrate. And bring your hands down. Step back to downward facing dog. Lower your knees to the floor. Take your toes out wide towards the sides of your mat. And just sit back here. Sit back in between your heels. If you need to place a block there, that's fine. But close your eyes and find some moments here in Virasana. A pose that reminds us that we have to work to find our breath in difficult and challenging times. But it's always there. Always there. Deep breaths in, yogi, and deep breaths out, yogis. You've got this. Let that be your mantra these next days and weeks. Blink your eyes open. Go from tabletop into downward facing dog. And then walk your feet forward so you can come to the top of your mat and fold in. Roll yourself up to high mountain pose. Gather your hands together at your heart. And then lift your left knee up like a big stair step, okay? Left hand slides down inside your left foot, okay? And then it's an extension of the right arm. Get long on the right side first. Send the left leg forward. And maybe you stay here. Maybe you open this up. Sweep your right arm back up. Bend your left knee and take your left foot all the way to the back of your mat. Shoulders over hips, deepen. Take your breath and move your left elbow outside your right thigh. Inhale, get long. Exhale, twist into it. These twisting poses remind us that we have to lean into our discomfort. It's like stepping through a portal with the promise on the other side to find release, freedom. Beautiful, and then bring your hands down to the floor. Step back to downward facing dog. Lower your knees to the mat. And walk your hands back towards your knees so you can sit on your heels this time. Then take your hands and tent them behind you. And on an inhale, just lift your sit bones up off your heels a bit as you inhale. Arch into a little back bend. And then exhale, lower your sit bones back down to your heels. And 2 more of those, pulsing to your breath, breathing in, lifting, opening. And then exhale, lowering. 1 more, open. And settle. Come forward into tabletop. Curl your toes. Step your feet close together. And then lift your right leg high to the sky. Step forward with your right foot. And then step your back foot up about 10 inches or so. So shortening your stance, pressing the left heel to the floor. Press into all 10 fingertips, lift through the spine, lay it up over your right thigh, and then surrender. Bring your upper body down to meet your lower body here. Feel the tractioning through the feet so that you really marry into the mat and the ground beneath it. And then transfer your left hand close to your right foot, maybe to the outside edge. Okay? And then use your right arm like the hands of a clock again. Sweep it along the ground, up and around behind you, and then up to the sky, finding your revolved triangle. And then from here, bring your right hand down to the ground. You're going to step forward with the left foot. Place it behind the right one. Bend and come down to sit and set yourself up for a twist. Okay? So you're sitting not on your heels. Okay? Find your tall spine. Inhale your left arm up and then turn. Turn to the right side of your mat. Take this in a sip and then a full expression. Rotate your spine all the way around to the left side of your mat. Make chaturanga arms here and dip down between your hands. And then come back up. Unhook your right foot from the left side of your mat. Rock forward, press your fingers into the mat and send your left leg high above you for standing splits. And then left foot down next to the right one. Heel toe your feet about hip distance apart here. Slide your hands, palms up underneath your feet, bringing your toes all the way up to your wrist creases if you can. And really press down into the palms of your hands. Find some extension through the spine first. And then keep a little bend in the knees and surrender down. Allow the head to hang. Softness in the jaw. Tenderness in the heart. A readiness for whatever comes next. And then take your hands out, return them palms down to the mat, and just step back into downward facing dog. As soon as you get there, lift your left leg and step your left foot forward between your thumbs. Then the right foot steps forward a bit to shorten your stance. Find your steady legs. Fold. Join the left hip crease back a little bit more so the hips stay level. Let your body be an altar here. An altar for your heart. And then transition into your revolved triangle. Right hand comes near or outside the left foot. I like to really find the expression of moving into the pose as being as important as the pose. So that sweep of the arm. And then bring the left arm down and come into your seated spinal twist. So the right foot or knee is going to come behind the left. You take your seat. Right arm lifts. And around we go. Take your little counter twist off to the right side of your mat, bowing down between your hands, and then pressing right back up. Untangle your legs and make your way into standing splits here. Extending your right leg and folding it.
Bring your right foot next to your left one. And then just crisscross one ankle behind the other and come down into your seated Sukhasana shape. One ankle in front of the other. From here, blink your eyes closed. Bring your hands, the backs of your hands onto the tops of your knees so your palms are facing up. Okay? Connect your thumb and your index finger for Yana Mudra. And then close your eyes. The way of love begins with a struggle. We resist, we hold on to our old ways, we hold on to our familiar ways. It's what we know, but Kali knows better. And out of deep love for the planet, deep love for us, her desire is to usher in a new way of being, the way of love. And sometimes that way of love comes through a lot of struggle, a lot of turmoil. So my invitation to you is to press on, press into this moment, press into this portal we find ourselves. Standing at the threshold now, the choice is ours. There's a saying that goes something like, don't waste a crisis. And a crisis is a moment in time when there's something really difficult in front of us. And it can either represent a turn for the worse or a turn for the better. That's the opportunity that exists here in this crisis. Do we resort to our old ways? Or do we step through this portal? A portal that Kali is urging us to step through. And the stepping through will require some destruction. It will require some changing of the old systems, the old structures, both the ones that live inside of us and the ones that live in our society. This invitation is arriving now because we're ready. There's actually a beautiful understanding of potential, beautiful opportunity to seize the potential, to step into a new way. But before we do that, we have to discard the old. And it requires a level of trust. We need to trust ourselves first and foremost. We need to trust one another. And we need to trust that there is this divine flow that is participating with us to usher in a better way, to usher in the way of love. Spend a few more moments here contemplating, surrendering. requesting your being to come into full acceptance of what is. Knowing that once we accept how things are, we're given the opportunity to shift in to the next better way. Blink your eyes open, yogis, and extend your right leg forward and off at about 45 degrees. Your left foot, the sole of it can just be pressed into your right thigh here. I like to sit up and adjust my sit bones just a tiny bit behind me and extend. Find that Kali sword again, okay? Turn towards your right toes. Take a deep breath in. And then reach out beyond yourself. Extend beyond your comfort zone and drop in. Stop along the way, resettle, or settle and regroup, and then go the rest of the distance. Feel yourself going deep in now, deep into yourself, into the seat of your own intuition, seat of your own wisdom, and churning that soil, awakening that wisdom. And then slowly rise back up. Tense your left hand behind you. Press into your left fingertips. Roll up onto the top of your right knee and sweep your right arm above you for stargazer pose. And then float back down. Switch your legs here, extending the left leg off at an angle, right foot presses to the inside of the left thigh. Find your Kali sword. Turn towards your left leg. Inhale, long on both sides of the body. Exhale, fold. Go, pause, join forces with Kali, and then go the rest of the way. Step through that portal. Make it one more beautiful expression of being in the dark, returning to the light as you rise up. Press your right fingertips behind you and sweep up into stargazer pose. And then slowly come down. Bring your feet to the top of your mat. Press the soles of the feet into the floor. Reach your arms out in front of you and slowly lower down onto your back. When you're all the way down, take your arms out like a T and draw your thighs in towards your belly. Take a breath in here. And when you exhale, let both your knees fall over to the left side of your mat. Press your shoulders into the ground. Turn your gaze to the right. Breathe into the space and the presence you've created in your body. Bring your knees back to the center and then take them over to the right side. And then return the knees to the center. Keep your feet close together and then just peel your knees wide and open into Supta Baddha Konasana. Allow the back of your head to rest on the earth. Eyes closed. Press into the unknown. Bring your left hand to your heart and your right hand to your belly. Feel in to your courage and feel into your heart and see them as your companions. As you guide your way forward, you've got this. And then bring your knees back together to send your legs straight up for a version of Vipariti Karini up in the middle of your living room or wherever you are. Just allowing your legs to be suspended right up overhead, right over your hips. See if you can find that sweet spot. And make your way into Shavasana, yogis. Stretch your legs out long on your mat. Take your arms away from your side body and turn your palms up. Allow the whole back of your head to rest on the mat. Spend about 2 or 3 breaths being really familiar with your breath. And then let the breath slip away. Allow the breath to do you. You've done the yoga. Now let the yoga do you. This practice is one of the most precious tools we have in our arsenal right now to step through this portal, to step through it with courage, to step through it with poise, to step through it with grace. And the promise is that once you step through this portal with Kali, you earn your dignity. can never unlearn the wisdom. You can never unlearn the truth and the understanding you have of who you really are and what you're really capable of and what you came here to do, which is to love. The way of love is not a subtle argument. The door there is devastation. Birds make great sky circles of their freedom. And how did they learn it? They fell. And in the falling, they were given their wings. Allow yourself to fall. Allow yourself to find your wings. Now begin to deepen your breath, yogis. Bring the smells, the sounds, the experiences that are happening around you back into your awareness. Feel yourself returning to your environment, to your surroundings, to your present moment, and all the circumstances of this reality right now. Step back into it, knowing that you've transported yourself back into your body and into the center of your heart space. It's a trip we have to take ourselves on over and over and over again. That's what our practice is here for, and that's what the people who love us are here for, especially the ones we struggle with. They're here to show us the way of love. Roll on to one side of your body, bringing your knees closer to your belly. And press into the ground to bring yourself up to your seat. Gather your hands together in front of your heart. Coming right back to this gesture of signaling. It's a signal. This is where we want to live from our heart. We find our way back here over and over again, we will be transforming the world outside of us. This last song on this playlist is Sweet Life. That's what it is. So move through this difficult time with the promise of sweetness on the other side. The love and the light that's inside of me honors and sees the love and the light that's inside each of you. Namaste.